Welcome to episode 19 of the Route 281 podcast. Thanks for joining me again. Today's episode is with Eric KNOPSNYDER, who is the Director of Public Relations and Community Outreach for Go Laurel Highlands, which is a company dedicated to promoting our area here in Somerset County as well as parts of Westmoreland and Fayette. So they work to promote our area, not only here, but really all over the United States, to highlight Somerset County for the gem of a place that it is. So we're excited to get to know Eric, learn a little bit more about him and what he does there and about Go Laurel Highlands. So we hope you enjoy this episode. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And also, if you're watching on Spotify, give us a follow there as well. We would appreciate that. Enjoy the episode. Okay, we are going. Eric KNOPSNYDER. This is episode 19. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad I found you. I've known about Go Laurel Highlands for a while, and I just kind of came onto my radar, reached out to the organization, and they gave me your contact, and now here you are.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on it. I love to talk all things Laurel Highlands, and I'm a Somerset County guy, so love to talk about what I know and love here in the area.
Yeah, cool. Like I said, just greatly appreciate you being here. We'll start off. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about growing up here in Somerset County. What kind of got you to this position? A little bit about your background, education. One of the things I like to do is just give some of our young people ideas for careers in the area, and I like to talk about where people went to school, what they did, kind of their work history a little bit. I know you were in journalism, but before we start, I will give you a gift.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. As you can see, I can use some sun protection, so.
That's all right. We're in that stage now. We're in fall. We don't have to worry so much. But, so if you see anybody running around the county with that hat on, they've been a guest on this show.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And Eric gave me this cool notepad, which I will use for my podcast notes.
Back to your question. So I grew up in Somerset County, went to Berlin. Big thing for me was wrestling. Like that was kind of my area to shine whenever I was younger. And I did that, and I was actually into journalism whenever I was in school. Had thought at one point that I was going to go into broadcasting in some capacity. And so I went to the University of Pittsburgh and ended up majoring in English writing, doing the journalism track there for more for the writing end of it, but also have a communication degree as well. So both of those kind of play into how I got to where I am, and ended up going into journalism. Started out at the Daily American, spent a couple years there in the sports department, and then moved on to the Tribune Democrat in Johnstown. And I was there for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So did a lot of different things. I was the sports editor for 7 years. Decided at that point that I probably needed to diversify my skill set a little bit, and didn't want to be locked into only being a newspaper guy.
Yeah.
Because I saw where we were headed, that newspapers were probably not a great long-term solution.
Right.
So started to develop some different skill sets, and eventually became the editor of the newspaper there.
Okay.
So I ran a 26-person newsroom for a couple years.
Oh, awesome.
Then on a whim almost, decided that I wanted to go someplace different, and I ended up quitting my job, convincing my wife that we should move to Hawaii.
Oh, you moved to Hawaii? You convinced her? How hard was that?
It wasn't too hard to convince her, but it didn't end up working out, because what happened was we were living in Johnstown at the time. Everything lined up perfectly for us to move. I sold the house. I had to go and start my job there, and she was going to hang around Johnstown, wait for the closing on the house. Day before the closing, we find out that the people had screwed up their credit and couldn't get the mortgage.
Oh.
So it was a situation where, I was paying more for a studio apartment in Kona than I was for a 5-bedroom house in Johnstown. So it ended up that I came back after about 3 months. She never did get to move there with me.
Did she visit at least?
She did not then. Like we've traveled to Hawaii quite a few times, but she never visited me on the Big Island while I was living there.
Okay.
So I joke that I can never win an argument with her because all she has to say is, "You moved to Hawaii."
Yeah, without me, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, that's cool.
So I came back to Johnstown, and that was actually, for me, that was a huge part of my journey. Because when I was flying into Kona, I'm so excited, can't wait, I'm moving to paradise. Started talking to the lady next to me and told her about what was going on. And she looked at me, and in all seriousness, Tim, she said, "Why in the world would you want to live here?" And I said, "This is paradise. What do you mean?"
Right. She
said, "I grew up here," and she said, "I could not wait to get off of this rock."
Wow.
And, it hit me then. Because I'd always, growing up in Somerset County, I couldn't wait to leave.
Yes.
There's nothing to do here. I want to go someplace bigger. I want more population, all that.
That is the mindset of so many people.
Exactly. And I know Regina Kokenauer was on your show, and
yes.
We've talked about how we need to educate the young people and give them some confidence in where we come from, that you can be successful here. You don't have to go elsewhere. And for me, that was that eye-opening moment. And it was when I was moving to Hawaii. And then when I came back, I looked at this area anew. And I mean, I'm very well traveled. My wife and I just went to our 50th state this year. So we've visited every state. We've seen a lot. We've done a lot.
Do you have a favorite?
I'm still partial to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because I love the mountains. Like if you go to Maui, you get kind of the best of both worlds to me, because you get the mountains and you get the beaches. And so, you've got it all there.
Right.
But Utah's really cool too.
Yeah.
Utah's one of my favorites.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, right here in the Laurel Highlands is such a fantastic area. We're getting it now. You're starting to see the leaves change, so you get the different seasons. And I think had I stayed in Hawaii, I think I would have really missed that.
Yes.
Because each season is different. And sometimes I say my favorite season is the next one, because I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for fall. Like right now, I'm like, man, I'm driving here and I'm like, man, I'm loving these leaves changing. I can't wait till we get that full on change, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was a huge part of my journey, was that diversion to Hawaii. And then I came back and it gave me a new appreciation, and I just started to really take note of everything that there is to see and do here, and started to do more stuff, started to get more active. During COVID, I started to get out and hike, really embrace that after having done a little bit of that when I was young and then gotten away from it.
Right.
And so then I joked that, I want to find a job where I can get paid to go hiking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I get paid to do that often in my role, but a little bit about my job as the PR director for Go Laurel Highlands, which for your watchers and your listeners is the tourism bureau essentially for Somerset, Fayette, and Westmoreland counties.
Okay.
And so my role as the PR director, a lot of what I do is I bring in journalists and content creators / influencers, and I show them what there is to do here and why this is such a wonderful region. And I help them share that story with their readers, listeners, followers.
Yeah.
And so it really spreads that story. It helps everyone learn about the Laurel Highlands. Yeah. So I get to do a lot of fun stuff. And every now and then, I get to do something really cool, like go hiking with them, or, bike on the Great Allegheny Passage, or whitewater rafting, or any of the really cool things that there are to do here. Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. Yeah. And, it's really taken all of those steps along the way to get here. Because I don't know that 10 or 15 years ago, I would have been good at this job.
Right.
But all those experiences that I've had, we were talking a little bit off air, I've got podcast experience, I've got the writing experience, I've got video editing experience. So I've got a little bit of all of that, and they kind of all came together. And I think they've really prepared me for where I am now in my career.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think it is inspiring, I think, just for young people, just to be creative and think a little bit outside the box. If you're living in this area, there's a lot of 9-to-5s you could do, but there are some other creative ways that you can make a living. And I think what you guys do at Laurel Highlands is bring people into the area. Now tourism has become a popular thing here, even in the recent history. I think since COVID, like you said, people wanted to get away from the city, come to the mountains, and I think that was just from reading your website, that was the general idea whenever Laurel Highlands got its name, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was a highly sought after place, and it still is. Almost what?
Yeah,
80 years later, almost.
1958 is when the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau was formed, and they've done a great job. I mean, I can't take credit for, that they've got decades and decades of stability and doing a great job of marketing the region, and we're just building on that now. We've got a great team there, and I think we're doing a great job of building that up. And we're starting to. It's funny, when I started in this role, I went to a conference for the first time, and I thought I was going to have to tell people in the Mid-Atlantic, explain what the Laurel Highlands was and all there is to do. And I got there, and it was almost like, yeah, we know everything. Like, you guys are great. We understand that. Like, what's new? So that was kind of eye-opening to me that, like, wow, we do have this name recognition in the Mid-Atlantic region. Now let's build it even farther. Let's go to New York City. Let's go to Philadelphia. Let's get, these places that maybe don't know us yet as well, and get them coming here. And that's what we've been able to do really well, I feel like, in the past few years. And just in the past week, one of the big wins for me personally and for the team, Samantha Brown, who has had numerous shows on the Travel Channel, been all over the world, done everything, recommended the Laurel Highlands as one of her 7 fall getaways.
Yes, I read the article.
Yeah, and I like
Parade
that was
magazine online.
Yeah, Parade and Yahoo picked it up. A bunch of other websites picked it up. And that was just such a cool thing for me personally, because I said when my wife and I, when we started dating, when we were first married, we didn't have the money to travel, but we loved the idea of it. And we watched Samantha Brown. So then to see that come full circle, yes, where she's talking about the Laurel Highlands and how cool of a place it is to come for the fall, was just such a special moment for me.
Yeah. I think there may be two sides to the fence. Maybe some old school thinking where we don't want a bunch of visitors coming here. And then you have small business owners who really reap the benefits of people coming to visit. For instance, your whitewater rafting companies, bike rentals, craft vendors, stuff like that. So what would you say to, the benefits of being highlighted in so many ways? And it's not just her show. I know USA Today recommends Laurel Highlands as one of the top 10 places to visit. 5 years in a row now? Yeah,
for fall foliage. Yeah, we've won it before. We're always in the top 5. So yeah, and it is. I mean, the easiest thing to tell people is, hey, it's dollars and cents, mm-hmm, right? I mean, this is a huge economic driver for our region. Last year, for the first time, the Laurel Highlands was. It was $2 billion that tourism brought into the local economy. Wow. I mean, that's a massive factor. Yeah. And that really pays off for each person individually. And you can see that, because when a visitor comes in, yeah, they're staying in a hotel or a bed and breakfast or an Airbnb or whatever it is. They're staying somewhere. They're paying somebody for that opportunity. But they're also going to restaurants. Mm-hmm. They're going to experiences. They're going to falling water. They're going whitewater rafting. They're riding the Great Allegheny Passage and stopping in the trail towns, going to Trailhead for a beer. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're doing all these things. They're filling up their gas tank at the local gas station. Mm-hmm. So they're really having an economic impact for everybody in Somerset County, in the Laurel Highlands, whenever they're doing that. And so that's the biggest thing that I can say is this is an important factor for us. I mean, we don't have the mining that we used to. We don't have the industry that we used to. We're still, we still have some big agriculture, but I grew up on a dairy farm, and you don't see many dairy farms anymore. I mean, there are a couple really big ones in the area, mm-hmm, but there aren't those family farms that there used to be. Yeah. And so tourism has really stepped into that void and is really filling a lot of that. And I know some of the folks you've had on your show, even, On Point Adventure Foods. Yeah. They cater to those people who are not necessarily just here, they're all over. Mm-hmm. But like I'm going in a couple weeks, I'm going to go hike the Laurel Highlands hiking trail. We're doing a 6-day hike, 5 nights. So I bought 10 meals from On Point, and I said, hey, I want you guys to, I want to have these meals so that when I can get into the shelter area, I make my dinner. I'm supporting local. I'm doing it from a local company, and then I get up in the morning and I'm having breakfast on them too. So it's it's great, and you see that, and it's not just a hotel, it's not just a restaurant. There are these ancillary businesses that are really benefiting from what tourism does for the region.
Have you hiked that trail 0 to 70 yet?
I have never done it as a through hike, and I think I'm actually missing one segment. Like a couple years ago, and it's funny. This was actually one of the things when I interviewed for this position with Go Laurel Highlands.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, look, I said, during COVID, a buddy of mine at the Tribune Democrat and I were talking, and we said we should go hike since we couldn't travel at that point. We said we should hike the whole thing and do it. And we didn't end up doing it, but I said, I bet if I talk with some of those people at the Tribune Democrat, we could do a series on the Laurel Highlands hiking trail. You know, we could give a first-person account, look at the economic factors, look at the businesses that benefit from it, look at the history, the geology, all that. And so we ended up doing a 9-part series on it. And we hiked the trail, except I managed to get injured hiking it. We were backpacking, and I stepped on a wet rock that was going downhill, and I slid and jammed my ankle into another rock and managed to finish out that day. But when I took my boot off, it just ballooned up, and I'm like, I can't do 14 miles tomorrow on this ankle. So I ended up missing 2 sections that they did the whole trail over a couple of weeks. So I got those 2 sections that I got to do yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that through hike. That's really high on my list of things I want to do.
I love that trail. This was right a couple of years before COVID. You know, I grew up going on that trail with my family. We would stay in the shelter area. My dad actually built a replica shelter along the Castleman River, a piece of property that he owns. All the rocks he used from right there to build the fireplace.
That's really cool.
It's an exact replica. And they are very cool. I picked a day in March one time. I thought, I'm going to get back on the trail. Middle of March. You know, you can sometimes get good weather, sometimes it's bad. I went out. It ended up getting down to 21 degrees that night, and I was in a tent because, believe it or not, the shelter area was full. And this was from close by here, Maple Summit to High Powell. I was hiking, so I did it was 15 miles. Hiked in 6.5, out 6.5, something like that, maybe 12 miles. But it got cold. But I loved it. Even though I had put on every piece of clothing I had while I was sleeping that night. My iPhone got so cold it shut down. But there were people native trout fishing.
Wow.
And like I said, the shelter area was full. What are there, 5 shelters there? Mm-hmm. There was a group hiking from Pittsburgh. And I never imagined in the middle of March that shelter area would be full.
Yeah, you wouldn't think at that time of year.
And it was a great experience. I think I saw 3 bald eagles.
Wow.
It was an eye opener for me. And then I did another section. So I've done from 0 to 30, which takes you to Route 31. Mm-hmm. But I still need to do the rest of it. But.
Yeah, and there's so many cool sections. Like each section has a little different feel. Like you run into some different topography and different like I know when you get close to the end at Seward there's a really cool rhododendron spot where you're going through like a tunnel of rhododendron, and you know you've got the lookouts and the different things, and it's just such a cool trail. One of the things that we're starting to work on is next year is the 50th anniversary of it, so they're going to be doing some special events for that. Have a group that's working together to put some things together, because I know some people, you know, backpacking is a big undertaking, and some people aren't ready for that. So they do some things called slack packing, where they'll take you out for the day. They'll drop you off at one location. You hike to another one. They'll pick you up, let you stay in a hotel or a bed and breakfast or somewhere, and then kind of rest up where you're sleeping in a bed and not in a tent or in a shelter. And then you can do
your
it.
Stuff it definitely adds another level to it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about, the challenge, because I like a challenge. I like to challenge myself, and I want to see, can I do that? Can I take everything that I need for 5 nights and 6 days and 70 miles and, put it on my back?
You have to let me know how it goes.
well, maybe. If it doesn't go well, I might just quietly fade into the background and not talk about it anymore. Yeah, we're doing it at the end of the month, so yeah.
What should be peak foliage or close to?
It should be. Hopefully not too cold yet. I know I woke up the other morning and I looked and it was 45, and I'm like, this might be a little chilly by the time we.
Yeah, it's like, I love summer, especially here. Like to me, there's no better place to be than here, like Memorial Day through Christmas. Then I'm like, okay, I want warmer weather. as a dairy farmer in the winter, it just brings so many challenges.
Yes, I know. I know. That's why, like I said, growing up, a large part of it was, man, I need to go someplace warm, because working out in the cold, doing the milking even, and then you got a manure spreader that breaks down in the winter, and
There's
you got
always a challenge in the wintertime.
Yeah, what was not a lot of fun then.
But like once fall comes, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to embrace it. I'm not the type that wants to go out and get a pumpkin latte on like September 1st, but like October I start.
You don't strike me as a big pumpkin latte guy.
No, I'm just black coffee's good for me. But but once fall's here, I do love it. I like getting out in the woods to hunt.
Absolutely.
And that's just a great way to walk and go see something new. I love hunting in new places. We used to go to West Virginia a little bit. It was like anywhere you can go experience the mountains that's a new place. I always like playing new golf courses. I don't like playing the same course over and over, but it's just, I just like go seeing new places. But when you say about Hawaii, I was doing my internship. I went for golf course management to be a golf course superintendent.
Nice.
But anyway, I applied just for an internship in Hawaii and didn't get the position, but I was like you, I was close. I had that curiosity. I wanted to go see what it was like. But
it was really interesting. The first assignment that I had there in the newspaper that I was working for there, I covered a kids golf tournament in Kona, and on that particular course there were wild goats that would come out at sunset and basically chew on the course.
Yeah, I've heard they have a lot of goats running wild.
Yeah, so it was really interesting to see goats just appear on the golf course near sunset.
I'll bet. As we get into fall, I know there's a ton of things to do here in Somerset County, Westmoreland, Fayette. What are some of your favorite fall events coming up?
Oh, I mean, there's so many good ones. Close to where we are right now, Pumpkin Fest in Confluence. That's a hugely popular one. And actually on my drive here, I passed the Farmers and Threshermen's Jubilee going on, getting ready for that. Seven Springs has Autumn Fest, which is, I believe, the first 3 weekends in October. So that's a great one. And then maybe the most popular of all is Fort Ligonier Days.
Yes.
If you've ever been to that, it's huge, brings people from all over. And Ligonier is such a cool little town, so walkable and shoppable. And so a lot of the people like to use that as almost a reunion of sorts. They come back in, people that have moved away, haven't been here for a while, want to come back and check it out. And of course, you get that second weekend of October in the Laurel Highlands is probably our peak, I would say, for fall foliage. So just a great time to be back in that. So yeah, all kinds of things. Even one that I haven't been to yet, but sounds really cool, is Delmont, the Apple and Arts Festival there.
Yeah, we used to live in Delmont.
Did you really?
Yeah, before we moved back to Somerset County, we lived there. My wife was a teacher.
Have you been to the Apple and Arts Festival?
Yeah, we used to go. I don't know, maybe we went 3 or 4 times, but it was pretty big then. I'm sure it's just as big now, but it is neat. It's very similar to, I would say, like, I don't know, it's a little bit different than all the ones that you just described. But a lot, vendors, it is neat. Yeah,
I mean, and those are, you can really embrace that small town charm in a lot of these things.
And I think that's what I love about all these things. The Jubilee, the parade is just, it's I like to see Americana still thrive.
Well, and what's great about it is it's great for the locals, but it's also great for the people coming in and visiting. Yeah. So you get that kind of mixture where, everybody from the New Centerville area is going to want to go to the Jubilee. Yeah. But then you get other people that are like, hey, I want to check this out. So you get that mixture, and it's really great to see. And that's how we can kind of showcase some of the best of what the Laurel Highlands has to offer. Yeah. Are these different festivals and ways of bringing in people to kind of experience the small town charm that we have in so many places.
Yeah. And I think that's even like people who live in New Centerville or live locally should understand that it does draw people from out of town. I used to work with a guy down in Pittsburgh. He came to the Jubilee every year. So it's just, they're supporting it. They're supporting the pizza shop, like you said, the little stores, all the vendors that set up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so big, and just that it kind of broadens the expectations. And again, to me, I think that's a way that we can really help the self-confidence of the people that grow up here. Because like I said, I faced that. I felt like, oh, I'm only from Somerset County. I've got to go somewhere else to succeed. And it took a long time to get past that mind block that I could succeed here and I don't have to go elsewhere. And I choose to be here now.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm stuck here. I choose to be in Somerset County and I love it here. And I want to share that with people.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's tough to appreciate until you've known something else. That was the case for me. I was just like you just described, kind of the same thing. It's just Somerset County. Kind of couldn't wait to go do and see something else. But we've traveled a lot of places. Like my kids love to travel. They're great travelers, and we love to travel. But I mean, there's no place like home, honestly. And this is. I've said it before, but it's one of my favorite places, especially Memorial Day through.
Yeah.
And I grew up skiing, so winter sports abound here. You can find something to do, even on a warm winter day. Just even go to High Point Lake, put a boat on, and
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that's important for people to realize. And what you said is key too, that I think it's important for people to get out and experience other things, because it's easy to fall into that mindset when you've never done anything else, that, oh, the world is so big and there's so much more to it. And, this is what it is. But whenever you get out and you experience those other things, it really does help you appreciate all that we have here in the Laurel Highlands.
How has tourism to Laurel Highlands changed since COVID? Do you feel like it has? Do you feel like it's increased?
I think the numbers certainly showed spikes in those state parks. They've leveled off a little bit since then, but like I said, the spending numbers that we've seen, we're higher than we've ever been. So that has been really big. And the key, of course, is making that just sustainable and trying to spread that out. So, Ohio Pile, you go there on a summer weekend, and if you're in the town, it's kind of crowded there. It's hard to find a parking spot. There's a lot going on, but you've also got to realize Ohio Pile State Park is 20,000 acres. So you can easily find a spot where no one else is around if you want to get to it.
Yeah.
It's just making that effort to get outside of the town and find a secluded spot where you can enjoy it if that's what you want.
Right.
If you want to hang out in town, I love that atmosphere. Like Nathan Riegner, who is with the state Office of Outdoor Recreation, he told me, he said, we don't have any national parks in the state of Pennsylvania. He said, but Ohio Pile is the closest feel that we have to a national park. When you get that vibe there, when you go and you see the whitewater rafters and you see the people that are there to bike and, enjoy all of that outdoor rec, that is really kind of that national park feel that we have right here in our backyard.
Yeah, I love Ohio Pile. Grew up on that river. My dad has helped me to appreciate the outdoors that we have here. He wasn't a big hunter, but he was a whitewater canoer. Now he still kayaks. He's in his 70s.
Wow,
he still
that's
gets
awesome.
out on the river, likes to go down to Castleman. But we went on the bike trail, introduced me to skiing, introduced me to the Laurel Highlands hiking trail, camping, kayaking. So that, I think, now that I have a family, I'm now sharing that with my kids.
That's fantastic.
So it's just kind of like, just pass it on, even if it's a little bit, show them what's out here. I think it's important for, families really to spend time together. And there's so many ways that they can do that in this area. Do you guys work with schools at all to help give kids that confidence of where we're from and kind of explain to them what really we have at our fingertips?
We don't do that because we have partners specifically. Our job is kind of promote the region as a whole. But like I said, I've had those discussions with Regina specifically about, hey, let's figure out a way to do this. And we're kind of looking at steps to do that. One of the things that I'd thrown out there is I'd love to see like a young influencer / content creator person program where we ask them to, hey, go out and make some Instagram reels and posts and things that you can do, or TikToks about things to do in Somerset County. I'd love to find somebody to sponsor that, to maybe find a way to give something back, to have a little contest of, who can come up with the best video promoting what there is to do here.
I think kids would love that.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids tell me, Dad, you should make a short. I'm like, how do I make a short? I know what they are, but how do I do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think these kids are wizards with this stuff, and I'm just learning it. But that's a great idea.
So yeah, let's figure out how to do it. Let's find a little bit of funding and give away a couple $100 for first prize or something.
What a great way for them to be creative and get out.
Right.
Like use their creativity and the skills that they have. It's not taught in a public school yet. But I think that it probably should be at this point. Like this new age of communications, like you said, newspapers are online, the magazines are online, and where do you get your content? Where do you get your news? It's online.
Well, and that's everything's changing now. Like I started seeing ads on my phone now for Google. Google hasn't had to advertise in decades because it had replaced, a search engine. You didn't say go search for that. You said Google it.
Right.
But now TikTok is replacing Google as the search engine for young people.
Yeah.
So people aren't going online and looking at that. They're going to TikTok and saying, hey, tell me about the Laurel Highlands.
Yeah.
And so they go and they search there, and that's where they get their information. Yeah. So that's why we've got to be there and got to be getting that message out to that audience.
Yeah. Regina and her team do a good job with Somerset.
They do. They do a great job.
I've noticed that, I need somebody to help me with this, but
we need a Route 281 intern.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Non-paid because we're not getting paid. I think that'd be a great idea. We should figure out a way to do that. But I just like to share with young people that it's a ton to do here. You just gotta maybe it takes a little effort to get out and hike the trail once, and you'll be hooked. It's
absolutely. I know that for me, I did it in 4-H whenever I was a kid.
Okay.
We had a backpacking group, yeah.
Nice.
And I love that. That was some of my best memories were hiking that Laurel Highlands hiking trail when I was a kid. And it's like, man, this is so cool to, be camping out and making my own meals in a little mess kit and all that.
And now Justin and Sabrina make that easy for you.
They do. They make it very easy and tasty too.
Yeah. So did you do the Somerset County Fair?
I did not actually show anything there. I never really had that. I mean, we had dairy cows and that, but I never got into showing. But my dad actually had a booth at the fair for quite a few years where he would raffle off like a 10-pound block of cheese with all the proceeds going to the Dairy Princess.
Okay.
So whenever I was like 12 to 15, I was able to spend like every minute at the fair the whole week. So it was fantastic then.
I love that as a kid.
Plus it got me out of work because otherwise I was baling hay during that time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. My kids do 4-H. They show dairy cattle. One of our neighbors, to where our dairy farm is, and we just recently sold it, or my dad and his partner, his brother.
Got Holsteins you have, or?
They kind of show a mixed bag. So they show for the O'Briens, and Morgan Johnson, who is now Morgan O'Brien, but she's aged out, but still raises quality show cattle.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a good opportunity. They do it through a lease program through 4-H, where they're involved with the feeding, they're involved with cleaning. They go over there and they walk. Starting in March, once the March calves are born, they pick out what they're going to show, and it keeps them busy. It's good. I love to see kids working. And,
right. That's such a good way to develop a work ethic.
Yeah, they're meeting friends that wouldn't be at their school. They're getting out there. And they have a show coming up next weekend in Harrisburg, the All-American, which brings show cattle from all over the country to Harrisburg.
Wow.
And they'll be there for the Saturday show, which is all the junior participants, 4-Hers. And then on Monday is the expo for everybody across the country to show. So
that's great.
It's a huge show, and just it's a little bit more competition than the county fair. But I do see numbers in the dairy barn coming up. Some of the market animals, it seems like numbers have been down a little bit, but it kind of fluctuates, but I love to see the fair keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, that was a huge part of my life growing up was spending the week at the county fair.
Yeah. Right after, so I was in Myrtle Beach. My mother lives just outside of Myrtle Beach. Whenever I contacted your organization and So then we were leaving. We went to the Myrtle Beach airport, and I see "Go Laurel Highlands" billboards lit up in not just one place, but there's multiple in the Myrtle Beach airport. I thought that was awesome.
Well, and that's one of the things, like sometimes people don't know us locally because while we have an awesome events calendar on our website where you can go on and find out what's happening in Confluence, what's happening in Ligonier, what's happening in Ohiopyle, that's great. But honestly, our main goal is to get people from outside of the area to come in and enjoy what we have here and, frankly, spend their money here.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. I mean, if you go to the Pittsburgh airport, whenever you land right now, new terminal coming soon, but right now, if you land, whenever you get to the bottom of the escalator there, you see "Go Laurel Highlands" right there. And, we're out there promoting. Like, we have targeted geo-fencing in Heathrow in London because there's a direct flight to Pittsburgh. And we know that people coming from London to Pittsburgh are interested in falling water, and they want to see that. So we're advertising in Washington, D.C., in London, in Boston, in these places, target markets that we know that people come here. And then, anywhere within probably a 6-hour drive, we're doing a lot of stuff to get that word out there, because especially since COVID, people are willing to do that drive. They'll say, 6 hours, that's not bad. I'll come here to get away from the city. This is a huge area for people from DC. And I like to say it's just cooler in the mountains. So what you're talking about, that time in the summer when it might be 90 or 95 in DC and you've got the pavement and it's baking and it just feels miserable. You come up here and it might be 75 and you got a nice breeze blowing through in the shade. Like it's comfortable. People love to escape here.
Yeah. I just thought that was really neat. So and I know you guys have a grant program. So can you explain a little bit about what that is and who it's for?
Sure. So the grant program works through the county. Each county has something set up. There's essentially a lodging tax. So again, this isn't money that's coming from Somerset County residents. It's coming from the visitors who come here and spend the night in a hotel, and they pay a tax that then goes into this fund. And then the county commissioners work with us to distribute that money in the form of grants to businesses who are essentially promoting tourism within the Laurel Highlands. So to very simplify it for you, if you've got a Somerset County business that is in some way bringing tourists to the region, you can apply for this marketing grant that will then be used outside of the county. So you can put a billboard up on the turnpike in Allegheny County or Westmoreland County telling people to come to your business in Somerset County.
Okay.
And you have a chance of getting that grant then and helping to pay for that.
Awesome. So how is Go Laurel Highlands funded? It's
through that lodging tax.
Okay.
That's where the majority of the funding comes from.
Okay.
And like I said, each county works a little bit differently, but that was something that was put in years ago by the state that you have the ability to use that lodging tax for different ways to promote the area.
Awesome.
So that's kind of why we're looking at those, bringing those in to kind of keep that fund going, and we're able to give back then through the form of those grants with the county commissioners. So it's a fantastic opportunity. As I said, it's not money that's coming from within the county. It's coming from the visitors to the county.
Yes. So has the Airbnb market helped?
It has. I know it's been a little tricky in the past. I think they've gotten much better about paying into it, because for a while it was like the Wild West there, where they weren't necessarily paying that lodging tax. And I think especially like a group like Airbnb has cracked down on that to make sure that's getting collected.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that was something that politically was difficult to figure out. Okay, if you're letting somebody stay in your camper out back, are we getting a tax on this? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it to answer your question, yeah, it has helped. And in the region, we have so many unique rental properties. Like there's so many cool places to stay here, whether it's a tree house in Ohiopyle, or glamping out near me in Somerset County, whether it's doing these different things. Like everybody's finding unique ways, and that's one of the things we find. Like I know, so we've sponsored And I know all the Steeler fans are going to hate this, but we sponsored the Ravens the past couple of years. And we are, now, let me say, we are the official vacation destination partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
So that's the big one. But we have sponsored the Ravens in the past too. And when our team would go there and do an activation there, have a booth set up, people would come up and they'd say, do you have cabins that we can stay in? Because, the city people love that idea of getting away from it all in a cabin and staying there.
Yeah.
And so those types of things are huge for us. Yeah, that they want to come here and experience a little bit of that wildlife that, being out of the city, being in a quiet cabin,
Yes.
Maybe having a little lake there, something like that. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right?
Right. Yeah, I know one of the former Steelers lives in the area. And I'm always amazed because, they could have went anywhere.
Yeah.
Not even from here, from the other side of the country. But they chose to purchase a farm in this area. Says something about
Absolutely.
the area, really.
Absolutely.
And they honestly could have went anywhere.
Yeah, and again, that's where it's a learning process for us that we have to realize, hey, yeah, we do have something really awesome here. We just have to appreciate it like the outsiders do. Because from my role, it's so amazing to see, I bring in people whose job it is to travel and see the coolest places in the world. And they come here and they're amazed by the Laurel Highlands and they love what we have here. And that's so fulfilling to be able to see that, to see somebody who's been all over the globe, been all over the country, and they come here and tell me what a special area we have. And again, that's something where I'm just trying to spread that message locally to let people understand that, we do have something great going on here.
Yeah. It's encouraging for me, even with kids, to know that, you can look around and you can say, like you said about the coal industry that supported our area for century, that may be in a downswing now, or industries in a downswing. And I always say there's always opportunity and there's always hope for things like that to come back. And we have great jobs through Riggs Industries and Lice Torn Dot, and there's markets.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
I'm not saying that there's still a lot of great industrial jobs out there.
Sure.
I don't want to say that is gone away completely by any means.
But it's just nice to see something new, and small businesses can really take advantage of that and get involved. Contact you guys, see how they can help promote their business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's just even, like you said, just kids being creative with content, in our area. If it is a place that is getting recognition, and what a good time for, people that are, want to be creative and get out there and make some TikTok videos on the Laurel Highlands Trail or going down the Yawk River. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I'm amazed at the number of people who are doing it as a career, who, they've said, hey, yeah, I'm all in. I'm going to live in a van and travel, or I'm going to, quit my 9-to-5 and just concentrate on it. Like I'm a guy that, I need to have that 401k and I need to know when the paycheck's coming next. But yeah, if you can do that and you can make a living at it, absolutely. It's a great life to live if you're comfortable doing that. I'd be nervous, but I appreciate those who can do it and the amazing content that they generate. Yeah,
I was, nervous doing this, but whenever I use my wife as a barometer for crazy ideas that I have, and you don't know if you're like that. But,
yeah. I don't get to do much after the failed Hawaii experiment.
I always ask her, and if she thinks it's a good idea, we'll bounce it off each other. But when I get the green light from her, because she's so sensible, I'm like, okay, when she was supportive of this, and I've just had fun doing it ever since.
Yeah, no, I think it's great what you're doing. You're getting local leaders on here, getting to talk about it. And again, what we're talking about, promoting Somerset County, promoting the Laurel Highlands, letting people appreciate what we have here, the talent that we have here, the great minds, and why they should want to be here.
Yeah, that's really my goal. And honestly, with similar upbringing, and it did take me going away and living different places, like Texas, like DC, like Pittsburgh, lived in Virginia, to say, these places are great. And there's perks, pluses and minuses to everywhere I've been, but Somerset County is just home to me, and
Well, and some of the the best examples of that, that are the boomerangs. The people who have moved away. Again, going back to Regina.
Yeah.
Somebody who could have made it elsewhere. She had gone, I think it was Chicago she was in, doing great there, but she wanted to come back home. And now she's doing great things here.
Yeah, Superintendent Mark Bauer at Rockwood School District just talked about that a little bit. He was in Lancaster, thought that was going to be, a career move for him and stay, and he found himself wanting to come back, and he's come back, and he's been the superintendent there for quite a while now.
Yeah.
No, I just think that young people, families, just really love to see them capitalize on what we have to offer here. And so, is there a way that you think that small businesses should be taking advantage of?
Well, of course, being a member of Go Laurel Highlands, if they're in the tourism industry.
Okay.
Thanks for setting me up with that one, Tim.
But that was just a genuine question, really. Though I own a small business, but it's not in the tourism. It's
right.
but...
No, and I mean just supporting local. We all know who's supporting the little league teams and the fundraisers and all those things. I mean, I try. We all need to go to the big box store sometimes to get some things, but anytime I can, I want to support local. Like I said, going back to On Point.
Yeah.
I could probably get it for $1 cheaper a meal if I went through one of the big national brands. But I know Justin and Sabrina. I appreciate their business, and I appreciate what they do, and that's worth it for a little bit extra to support local.
Yeah, and they're going to the 4-H sale and purchasing their meat from these kids from
so
4-H.
It's all local.
Everybody's giving back.
Yeah,
I love seeing that. Love people just embracing, each other, really, because we do support each other. I say that all the time. Just with my business, I work for my neighbors and friends, and and when you work in a small town like this,
right,
you better do a good job, because word will travel faster if you don't. But
yes,
so
my dad has a saying. He's always told me. He said, "Your reputation will travel further and faster than you ever will."
Yes, that is true for sure.
Yeah, and I try to live by that. That I want to make sure anything I'm doing is going to reflect well upon that and upon the region that helped raise me.
Any other fall events coming up that you'd like to just mention?
Well, a little self-promotion again, the Bonfires, Barrels, and Brews.
Yes.
I don't know if you know about our Pour Tour, but it is a hugely popular craft beverage trail. So we have 65 different locations on it, where those are craft breweries, wineries, distilleries, even a meadery, cidery. So you can get either a booklet and fill that out, collect stickers, or do the digital app and get stamps that way. But the idea is you try new places. Again, this is trying to get people out, because sometimes we all kind of get stuck in a rut and we go to the same place over and over again. And so the idea with this is, hey, go out and try something new. And it's been hugely successful. I went to high school with the owner of White Horse Brewing in Berlin.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Eric, I get people that will drive from Greensburg to Berlin to get a beer.
Yeah.
Said that would never happen without this program.
Right.
But they want to get that sticker, because you get the 15 stickers and you get a prize, and you get the 30 and you get another prize, and you get the 45 and you get a big prize. So, there are all these different things. And then the Bonfires, Barrels, and Brews is something we do in October that is a great way to celebrate that end of October. I'm not sure. It might even be into November this year. The date just came out yesterday.
26th.
26th. There you go. You know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I looked it up because I'm like, maybe we should go to that.
Yeah, it's a really cool time. I mean, I end up working it, so I'm not getting to enjoy it, but it's still a fun time. Like, I do enjoy it even though I'm working.
That'd be a great place to go with a bunch of friends. Get there's some places around that you could get like one of these suburban limos and just load it up and get a driver.
And the fun thing about it is it's close enough to Christmas that a lot of people use that. They want to get some products, some wine, a bottle of whiskey, something like that for people for Christmas. Yeah. So they go there, they start their Christmas shopping, and each of these places you can get a sticker from when you make a purchase. So it's a quick way to fill that up, because we've got about a dozen makers there. Yeah. So you can do that. Plus you get the special sticker for the event itself. So you go there and you buy something from everybody there. You've almost filled up your first prize tier just by going to it.
So what is that prize tier program? Like, how does that work?
Like I said, it's 15, and this year I believe it's a T-shirt is first prize.
Okay.
And then, now I'm blanking on what the other two are this year because it changes each year. We've had different things.
But essentially, it's a prize.
Okay, so you come into the store, you can redeem that. Yeah, and people love it. I mean, it's crazy. I know the one year we started it in January, and by Valentine's Day, somebody had filled their 45 prizes.
Oh wow.
They actually took off of work. They said that it was their 20th anniversary, and they said they considered going to Vegas or maybe Nashville, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to stay home. We're just going to do the pour tour.
Yeah.
And so they would go, to a couple different locations, and obviously you're not drinking at every one. So you go to a winery and you get a bottle, and then you go to a brewery and you have a beer, and do things to do it responsibly. Mm-hmm. But they did that. And they did tell me, though, they said this was exhausting doing it this way. They said, we can't wait to just go to our favorite place and just have a beer and relax and not have to run off to the next place.
Yeah, I bet it's a lot of running.
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's great for the makers because they get people that wouldn't normally come there that come and check it out. And that's one of the things whenever the people come to redeem a prize, I love to ask them. I said, well, what's your favorite place? And they say, oh, well, I went to Matrix, which I would have never found otherwise, and I loved it. Yeah. Or, I went to Trailhead and, the Rusty Musket or all in any of these places. And they're like, I never would have found this if not for this program.
Yeah. Now, like, what makes the Laurel Highlands different or special than, like, you say, the Poconos or someplace like that? Because this is not the only mountainous region in Pennsylvania.
It's not.
But it is. But you see, the accolades that we're getting here. So what do you think's driving that versus?
I mean, I think obviously we're blessed with natural resources. So, we do have the incredible fall foliage. We have the 3 ski resorts that are phenomenal. We have Ohiopyle, which nowhere else has. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not a place in the state that's like Ohiopyle. Whenever you look at that whitewater rafting opportunity and the Great Allegheny Passage and the Laurel Highlands hiking trail and everything that's there, nobody else has that. So we're blessed with that. But we have great people too. Yeah. And we have great resources behind that we have, the outfitters in Ohiopyle, and we have the On Point Adventure Foods, and we have people like Regina and the local leaders who are really supporting those efforts and understand the importance of the outdoors to our region and that recreational aspect. So all that coming together, I think, really makes us special. And I think just getting the word out there that we're really doing a lot to promote that and let people know, hey, it is awesome here. You should come here and check it out.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else that you want to go over that we...
No, I appreciate the time. Love the podcast and what you're doing. And, just keep spreading the word about all the wonderful things to do here in Somerset County and the Laurel Highlands as a whole. Yeah, yep. So we love the people here. So many great people to, I've got no shortage of people that I want to talk to on this podcast. Yeah. I'm glad I found you to come on. I think the website is phenomenal. Thank you. We have an app too that people can download. Yeah. As I said, you can do the pour tour through that. You'll get alerts on if you want about things that are happening. I would recommend anybody local check out the events calendar because it's a phenomenal resource to figure out what's going on because there are things going on every weekend. And again, 14-year-old me had no idea all the things that were going on in this area. And now my wife is like, look, we can't do everything in the events calendar. Sometimes we got to stay home and do laundry. Yeah. So she's got to be the adult in the relationship and be like, no, we can't go to every event.
I hear you there because, you make a good team that way. Yeah. No, Eric KNOPSNYDER, greatly appreciate you coming on. Like I said, go check out the website or download the Go Laurel Highlands app. The website is, it really is great. Whoever did a great job. It's so much information there and links to, like you said, the Samantha Brown and the USA Today. It's very neat for somebody to go on there and see. It's kind of everything that we have is compiled into one place, and all the events, like you said, Jubilee's on there, Pumpkin Fest is on there. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing your best to promote, support local vendors, local businesses. So good job.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you.